like a leader? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you how your executive presence can really help you when you're trying to learn how to read a room like a leader. Now, you want to watch this video until the very end. Why? Because reading the room is a skill that will not only help you to accelerate your growth as a woman in leadership or as a leader, but it will also help you to showcase how intuitive you are, and you will be the person that knows when to say the right things at the right time. And if this sounds like something you would like to learn more about, then you want to absolutely watch this video until the end, because many times what I've found from leaders is that they struggle with this. Oftentimes they just don't know exactly, well, what do I need to say? When do I need to say it? This is why reading the room is critically important, and why it's a skill you want to learn to start mastering today. Now, we're going to get into it today. Earlier this morning, I talked about reading the room like a woman leader. So we talked a little bit about it this morning. If you want to take a look at the live from earlier today, you'll learn a few tips there. We'll go over them briefly here, but I'm going to go into a few more strategies that can help you learn how to read a room like a leader. Now, if you're watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, friend, and I'm glad that you are here today and spending some time with me. This is a live video, therefore there is typically a point in time where people start to join the conversation. Give me just a few moments so I can say hello to them and interact with them for a few moments, and then we're going to go into how you can start learning how to read a room like a leader and showcase your executive presence. Now, I mentioned to you why this is important. And before I go into that, let me start off by saying, if you are new to me, I'm glad that you're here. You are supposed to be watching this video, because if you clicked on this video, that means you are trying to elevate yourself in terms of how you are communicating as a leader. The titles of the videos that I have are very specific to a certain type of person. And if you're watching this, you're that certain type of person that is an exceptional leader already, and you're just trying to elevate your skills so that you can master how you're communicating to other people. Now, in terms of who I help, I support women in leadership in terms of one-on-one executive coaching with them. However, if you happen to be not in that audience, maybe you are a man in leadership, or maybe you are a woman that's not a leader yet, you will learn a tremendous amount of value here on this channel. Specifically, the information I'm sharing with you is somewhat universal, where it will help you go to that next level. If you want to learn how to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure, this is the place for you to be. All right, we have Seba Grow Garden. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. If you want to learn how to start reading a room like a leader, then you need to stay for the rest of this live and learn as much as you can, because I'm going to share with you some strategies that people don't talk about here on YouTube as it relates to how to read a room like a leader. Join me and learn from my over 20 years of experience being in very, very, very interesting situations as a director, a C-suite executive, and a manager. I have interacted with congressional leaders here on the state and the local level. So I've been in some very friendly and some very contentious situations, and you have to learn how to read a room, friends. You're going to need to know how to master this skill if you're trying to elevate yourself as a leader. Johnny Ramirez -M1, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Glad you are here. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. And if you ever had a hard time reading the room like leader, or maybe you have some strategies that you would like to share to the rest of us, let me know in the comments below. I'm glad you all are here today. And if you like this information so far, you should subscribe to the channel, friend. This is what I talk about all of the time, those advanced level skills that will set you apart from everybody else as a leader. Now, let's talk about this. So, executive presence, long conversation, we can talk about that. There's so many aspects of executive presence that I talk about here on my channel. I have several videos on my live tab and pre-recorded videos that talk about executive presence. So if you want to dive more into that, then you should check out those videos and learn as much as you can here on the channel. Now, today we're going to be focusing a bit more on how to read a room. Now, your executive presence itself is something that is very, very important in terms of how you read a room. Why? Because executives are the individuals that know when they should say something, when they should not. And your executive presence, even though some people think it's a myth on LinkedIn, I've seen several posts how people think it's nothing, it's nonsense, it's not real, it's somewhat the equivalent of a mystical unicorn that we've never seen. I want to share with you that executive presence is real, and if you don't have it, you need to try to develop it. If and only if you are trying to elevate yourself as a leader. If you're not and you're trying to be the average leader, this is probably not the channel for you. This is the channel for the individuals that are trying to be above average and really stand out from everybody else. So how can you learn how to read a room? Okay, I'm going to go into a couple things I shared with you earlier, but I want to know from you all. Have you ever struggled reading a room? Or maybe have you read a room and what did you see? What did you pick up on when you read a room when you were in a leadership role? Let me know in the comments below. To start off, a couple things I talked about this morning in terms of reading a room like a leader. The first thing you want to do is greet the room. Say hello, good morning. This will allow you to see who is speaking to you and who is paying attention to you, who is not paying attention to you. This is just something I've tested out over my past 20 years of being in these higher level senior leadership, C-suite type of roles. So you want to say hello to the room so you get an idea in terms of who's saying hello to me, who's not. That's a good determination in terms of who you want to interact with. Number two, you need to observe the room. Observing the room is very, very, very important. Many people really struggle with this because most of the time, and let me know if you've done it, I personally have done it before. Most of the time when you're in a leadership role and you are saying hello and you're going to sit down, we are just solely focused on where are we going to sit? Look at the chair, which chair am I going to sit in? I'm going to sit right here. Well, I encourage you not to do that. Instead of just focusing in on where you're going to sit, just find an empty chair to sit at. But focus on what's going on in the room. Observe the room. Some strategies, some things you want to look out for if you're in a leadership setting, or maybe you are in a board meeting, in a presentation, maybe you're in the political arena. You want to take a look and see who is sitting with who and who is talking to who. Why? This is good information for you to know, and this helps you to start to read the room. You get a sense of, oh, I see that Mary and Susie are talking, or John and Mary are speaking, or whatever the case may be. It gives you a sense of the dynamics that you may not know about, but are visible there in front of your face if only you take a moment to pay attention to them. This is a strategy I talk to my clients about and teach my clients in a one-on-one executive coaching session. If you happen to be a woman in leadership and you want to have a strategy session where we can talk about where you are and where you want to be, then feel free to look at the description below, sign up for a strategy session for us to have a brief call to talk about that. But you do want to get an idea in terms of the dynamics of the room, who are the individuals communicating with each other, because those are most likely allies, and you just want to know that information. That's one strategic tip to read the room. The third tip I want to share with you is you want to observe the energy in the room. Now, I'm going through these pretty quickly because I talked about them earlier this morning in the live. Now, I want to know from those of you who are joining, one, before I go into this, let me know where you all are joining from. Say hello, welcome, I'm glad you're here. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are joining from today. And let me know if you have you ever read a room? And what did you see? What did you see when you read the room? And two, maybe you're struggling with reading a room and you just don't know how to do it. Then let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can help you with some strategies so that you don't struggle with this as much. Okay, so we talked about we're observing the room at this point. We're observing the room. This is how you read a room. I talked about this earlier this morning in terms of the analogy that you're reading a book. If you're reading a book, then what are you doing at the book? Are you closing your eyes? Maybe, possibly if you're listening to an audiobook. But if you are reading a book, then you literally are looking at the book. So therefore, if you want to read the room, you need to look at the room. You need to observe the room and see exactly what is going on. So how can you observe the energy of the room? This is a great example. This is what I tell my clients in a one-on-one session. So I'm sharing this information to you all to really help you start developing these strategies that you can start working on today. Leaders, today you can do this. Well, number one, you want to make sure that you're in a setting where you get a feel of what's going on in the room. So before I go into that, I want to say hello to Universe Sweats. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And if you've ever had problems reading the room. Now, as I mentioned, you want to observe the energy in the room. What's going on in the room? Look around, take a moment, freeze yourself in time, and look to see what is everybody doing. You may have people in the room that seem energetic. Maybe they are energetic, they're happy, they're laughing. They might be joking around. You get the sense the room is very uplifted, is very positive, and therefore, if you have information that you need to share, this might be a good time for you to talk about, depending on what it is you need to discuss. Now, if you go into the room and you see everybody's heads down, or maybe somebody's hands on their face, or somebody's just looking around at the sky like they need an answer about something because they're just a bit perplexed about an issue, that tells you the room energy is not as positive as you'd like for it to be. Now, when will you see these scenarios? You may see this scenario come up when there's a very stressful, very highly contentious situation going on. And if you're in a leadership role, I guarantee you will have these type of meetings. There will be meetings when you have them, and it's very frustrating. It's very contentious, and people just may be in a very negative state. Now, if you're watching this video or subscribe to my channel, you are not going to be one of those people. You're going to be the person that can stay very calm and collected under pressure, even if the sky is falling. Some people, majority of leaders, have a very, very difficult time being able to control their emotions under pressure. Therefore, that's why when you walk into the room and you're able to read it, most people are not able to control their facial expressions or how they really conduct themselves emotionally under pressure. And you'll see that outward appearance of it in terms of them maybe looking down, hand on their face, they're just looking perplexed, they look frustrated. If you have a major topic that is a huge issue and you notice that this is the energy in the room, people are looking like they are not happy, then you may want to wait on the topic that you need to talk about with everybody else. This is how you read a room. Sometimes it is best for you to say something, and sometimes it is best for you to say nothing. It depends on what is going on in the room. Now, if it's an urgent topic, sometimes you cannot wait to see, does the room feel happy? Does the room feel sad? You need to discuss the issue. And there are times for that. But to learn how to read a room, you have to really pay attention to what is everybody doing. Now, the other part of that I want to share with you is that you may also be able to see if a person or another person may be having a bit of a rough day. Sometimes you may have a mixture. You may have a group of people that are happy, laughing, they're doing great before a meeting starts or before an event begins. And then you may have one or two people that you see, they almost create a bubble around themselves. They may be just highly focused on their phones and not paying anyone else any attention. They could be that person that has their head down, that is looking off in the ceiling, or maybe has their head, hand on their face or something like that. When you see that happen with a specific individual, then you have to determine, is there something that you want to say to this person? Is this the right time to have this conversation with this person? Or you may want to simply ask, hi, Mary. Hi, Jennifer. How are you doing today? How are things going for you? So you get an idea in terms of what's going on. Now, reading the room isn't necessarily just only observing. You have to be able to ask some open-ended questions if you see situations like that happening, so you get an idea in terms of what's going on in the room. Most of the time, if you see someone that is in that emotional state where they are showing their emotions in a meeting, and you pull them to the side and say, Jennifer, how are you doing? How are things going for you? They will usually tell you what's going on, unless they are a bit guarded and they don't want to tell you what's going on, and that's fine. But the fact that you ask them opens the door for you to be that person that really stands out as the leader, that showcases their executive presence, that can be the person that learns how to read a room. Now, another part of reading a room, and let me know in the comments below if this has been helpful to you in terms of learning how to read a room. Let me know which of my strategies I shared with you do you like the most? Which one do you like the most so far? And which one do you think that you may start implementing today in your development as a leader? Now, I want to share with you there's another level of reading the room. The other level of reading the room not only is observing, but being very mindful of your eye contact. Making eye contact with individuals in a room will help you to learn how to read the room, because you're looking at them and you're making eye contact to let the other person know that you are paying attention to what they're saying. You want to be very observant if other people can make eye contact with you. I talk about this at length in my channel. If you are new to my channel, take a look at a couple of my live videos here that talk about eye contact. You will absolutely want to listen out for the cowboy analogy that I use for eye contact. I'm not going to go into detail on it in this video because I talk about it and this is not the purpose of this video specifically, but just check out my eye contact videos. You're going to learn a lot of information about the cowboy. Look out for the cowboy. The cowboy is my favorite analogy in terms of how you can start mastering eye contact. But you want to make eye contact with people because that helps them to show that you are interested in what they're having to say. Along with your eye contact, you want to monitor their body language. When, let's say you're in a meeting and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Like sometimes, and I've been in meetings like this. Let me know if you all have been in meetings like this. You come into the meeting, you're listening to it, and people start talking about something. You're thinking, what is going on here? Like you see that there's something going on here. You're like, what is going on here? What you need to do is use your eyes, use your eye contact if you have the ability to see, and pay attention to the body language or those nonverbal gestures, as we say in public speaking, that people are showing you when they have a specific topic they're discussing. Some people may start to shift gait a bit. They may kind of move to the side and move this way. They may start to grab a pen top. I talk about this in one of my videos where people just pop the tops off the pens. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen when there's a very maybe stressful, maybe nervous conversation that's coming up. And then also being able to see if people may be not making eye contact with you. Sometimes people diverting away is a way for them to avoid the issue. They may scratch their head. They may just put their hands on their face. They may just take a big breath and maybe their eyes open up very wide. All of these type of cues are very important to pay attention to if you are trying to read a room. You will want to pay attention to what people are not wanting to say. If there is a very hot topic that's going on and you see someone become a bit defensive, or maybe they don't even say anything, you can just see that the conversation is uncomfortable to them. This, my friends, is how you read a room. This is how you will read a room. You just have to pay attention to what people are saying and what they are not saying. And majority of times, what they are not saying will tell you what they really want to say, but they may be too afraid to say it. Now, this and what I'm sharing with you are skills I have learned how to master over the past 20 years. And I'm sharing this with you we have been live for about 18 minutes, 20 years worth of expertise in this field. Because if you can learn how to read a room, you will be able to determine, should I talk about this now or should I not? And as I mentioned before, there are times where you're going to have a situation come up and you need to talk about it now. You just need to have that conversation. You need to talk about it. You need to go through it. And that's okay. But there are times when you may want to wait. You may not need to have that conversation right this moment. I hope this information has been very helpful to you. Reading the room is important. And I want to know from you. Let me know in the comments below. Have you read a room? What did you see? And we can always talk about what did you see in another video, because I have plenty of things I've seen when I've read a room. I've been able to find out different relationships people had going on in terms of professional relationships, sometimes personal. You can find out who communicates with each other quite a bit. You can actually, if you listen carefully, you can hear a lot of other information too. So we can talk about that in another video. But what did you observe when you were reading a room? And what are some strategies that you would like to share to the audience to help us all be able to learn how to read a room? Let me know in the comments below. So let me know also, which of these strategies are you going to start working on now? Which strategy do you think you can start implementing today, the next time you have a meeting to help you read a room? If you want me to go into more detail on reading a room, then let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to go into more detail on this. And there is a lot of value that comes from this particular type of topic. Sometimes you just don't know what people are doing or what they're thinking, and you don't have to. We're not necessarily mind readers, but you can observe and learn a lot of information. You can learn who wants to talk to you, who doesn't want to talk to you, what they want to talk to you about, what they do not want to talk to you about, conversations they're having about you. You may think, yeah, right, there's no way you can learn all of this by observing, but yes, friends, you can. You just have to be able to listen and observe more than you speak. And many times people think when you're developing your executive presence or you're enhancing yourself as a woman in leadership, that you have to be the biggest voice in the room, the loudest voice in your room. And I'm sharing with you, you do not. You need to be the voice that is the most observant in the room. That will tell you a lot that's going on. We have Julian Heredia 2334. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome, Julian. Welcome. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are joining from today. We are just finishing up talking about how to read a room like a leader. And this is a live video. It will be on the channel as soon as YouTube uploads it. So you may want to check out the replay because I go over a lot of strategies that will help you learn how to read the room like a leader, Julian. Julian Heredia 2334 says, "You are beautiful." Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And feel free to take a look at some of the videos here on my channel. We talk about very advanced level communication skills. So my role here, I really do believe that people become great by how they communicate. And so my mission here on this earth is really to help unlock the greatness within you. And the way I do that is by sharing with you over 20 years worth of experience that I've had in senior leadership roles as a C-suite executive, as a director and as a manager, as a public speaker, and an executive coach and consultant to help you stand out from everybody else as a leader. So if you're wanting to learn how to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure, this is the best place for you to be at on YouTube. Absolute best place for you to be at, because you will learn how to master some of these advanced level skills that oftentimes we're not taught as leaders to be able to learn so that we can stand out from everybody else. So if you like this information, feel free to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate those of you who have already given this video a thumbs up. Thank you. It allows it to be seen by more people on YouTube, and I appreciate you all being here. Now, if you are new to me, I do go live here from Tuesday through Friday, at least 2 times a day, usually in the mornings on my commute and in the evenings around about this time or a little earlier. And I give you topics, knowledge, and strategies to help you really accelerate your growth in terms of how you're communicating as a leader. In addition to that, the audience that I work with in terms of my executive coaching and consulting practice are typically women in leadership. But if you happen to be a woman that is not a leader yet, or you are a man in leadership, you will learn a tremendous amount of value here on this channel, because I talk about a lot of universal information. And of course, I have specific topics that relate specifically to women, because women in leadership do have some unique challenges. But if you happen to be a woman that's not in leadership, or a man in leadership, you're going to learn a lot of information here, friends. So feel free to subscribe to the channel and share it to anybody else that you know is trying to develop and enhance themselves professionally, because the best way for you to elevate yourself as a leader is to communicate as a leader. And I will share with you the strategies and techniques that will absolutely help you to be able to do that. I hope you all have an amazing day. If you have some topics you want me to learn more information about, or you want to learn more information about, and you're just trying to figure out, well, what should I talk about? How should I say it? When should I say it? Let me know in the comments below. I deal with more of the complicated type of communication situations that come up. So if you've been in a really challenging situation, you're figuring out maybe how should I say it? What should I say? Then just let me know in the comments below. You're welcome to contact me also at Instagram on @ExciteExcellence, or on LinkedIn at Dr. Jacinta Lamantai, or at Excite Excellence there as well. And of course, you're here on YouTube. Put something in the comments below. I will respond to you and do a video just for you, friends, and give you a shout out in it also, depending on what the topic is. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.